Up next, it is time for Truth or Fake, which is our daily fact-checking segment in association with the France 24 Observers. I'm joined by James Creedon. Hello, James. Let's begin this evening with a video you've picked out for us. It appears to show an attack on a youth, and this video is being used for political purposes here in France, in particular to cast immigrants in a bad, negative light. Tell us more.
Well, let's take a look, Tom, at the video in question. So this was a video that was circulating on Facebook, and what you can see here is a scene of rowdy teenagers and girls in particular being tripped by these sort of teenage boys. It's particularly, bad, delinquent sort of behaviour. And one girl, as you see there, falls in between the train and the platform. She's fished out pretty quickly, so there's nothing too serious in terms of the injuries that happened, but that's the scene that was circulating online. Let's take a look at a comment associated with that video that was on social media. Now, this is Thierry Tsagalos. He is a member of the National Rally, the far-right party here, the former National Front, and he says, "Oh, what great luck for France." He's saying, "Look at this this awful behaviour on a platform, des racailles," which is a word often used here in France to kind of talk about, I suppose it kind of means scum. It's a very nasty word, and often has had connotations with people of immigrant origin, as I can show you later. In any case, this is awful behaviour, and they need to be deported from the country. So now, there are two assumptions in that particular tweet with the video attached. One, that this happened in France, and the other, that it was involving youths that have an immigrant background.
Okay, and in fact, this is all wrong, isn't it? It's all sort of cooked up.
Absolutely.
Exaggerated.
On both of those counts, it was completely false. That video, you can see here that this actually happened in Dublin. This happened in April of this year, so several months ago. It got an awful lot of media attention at that time in Ireland. And it was a gang of youths from North Dublin. It happened at a junction called Howth Junction on a train. You can see there the train, clearly not a train that you would see in France. The colour and even the type of train. This is a suburban train in Dublin, the DART system. And so while members were members of a gang, this is what the journalists in Dublin were reporting, most of them under 18, were travelling in from North Dublin around the capital for organised fights and to cause unprovoked violence. So it seems that that incident wasn't even an isolated incident related to this particular gang of youths. But according to all of the reporting that is surrounding this incident in Dublin, there's no indication that in Ireland or elsewhere or anywhere that there was any immigrant component to the profile of these youths. So if you look at what happened some time later, Thierry Tsagalos, who presented for himself for local elections in the south of France at one point for the National Rally, he corrected what he had posted. He changed the word France to Europe. So I suppose he thought, well, it still holds true. It's just not here. It's still the same problem. And he spoke about the problem of multiculturalism in Ireland, which is being supported by our mainstream party elites in France and in Europe. Again, wrong, because based on the reporting, because they're minors, we don't know exactly the profile of these youths, but it does seem to be a gang of youths from Dublin with no link whatsoever to immigration at all. So, in fact, that tweet, it's fair to say, was completely bogus. Now, that was investigated by our observers team here at France 24 since his tweet has been taken down entirely. Also, they did an interview in this context with a representative of the Migration Convergence Institute. That's part of the CNRS Research Institute here in France. They're really trying to ensure that disinformation and fake news surrounding people who have a background of immigration in their family is sort of debunked or undone. And this is not an isolated incident. You do have videos going around circulating on social media or photos that are claiming to show bad or unsavoury behaviour involving certain parts of the population. And oftentimes the facts are very much not being considered. So the Institut Convergence Migration, they have been doing some work with our observers team to ensure that false information like that is debunked.
Okay, well, shame on that politician for not even recognising French trains. If he's that patriotic, you'd have thought he'd recognise a train.
And even the audio, if you listen to the audio, clearly you can hear English spoken. It was a pretty great moment of ignorance.
A lazy accusation. Well, thank you very much indeed for today's edition of Truth or Fake. James Creedon, thank you very much indeed. Up next, it is